Hey there, namaste and salam. I'm Malavika Vashish. Welcome to my channel Astrocast. I'm a PhD student and in my research I have to read a lot of scientific papers. Sometimes they can be lengthy and quite intimidating. So personally I follow a process which helps me get through it in a more efficient manner. And today I want to share with you that process and I hope that it will help you too. Don't worry, it was all professor approved. Keep watching. Step 1. Reading the title. I know this sounds extremely obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. The title summarizes everything comprised in the paper in the briefest way possible. This concretizes the topic in my head. Hence, I recommend reading the title several times before starting to read the paper. Step 2. Reading the abstract. The abstract gives the essence of the paper. It proposes the problem statement, states the methodology used to tackle this problem statement, and mentions the results obtained and the conclusions drawn. This is like the bio of the paper, and this is where I decide if the paper is relevant to my interests or not. Step 3. Introduction, results and conclusion. Introduction helps me understand the bigger picture, of which the paper is a small part of. I gain insight into the motivation of the project, which sets a context to the paper. If I'm especially new to the topic, I make sure that I read every single reference mentioned in the introduction. Introduction also helps me understand the structure in which the paper was written. And once I'm done with the introduction, I move on to the results and the conclusion section. If I'm convinced, I go through every single graph there is in the paper and make sure that I read all the captions under it, because a picture speaks 1,000 words. And once I am done with all the graphs, I simply put the paper away and try to grasp and absorb everything I have read so far. And that brings us to our next step. Step 4. A mental note. This is a self-summarizing technique which helps me assess to what extent the paper makes sense to me. I simply put the paper aside, I close my eyes and I ask myself the following questions. What is the bigger picture? What is the problem statement? What methods are used to tackle this problem statement? What resources/data was used to experiment on, what results were obtained, and what conclusions were drawn. So now, if you are a student, we have briefly summarized the paper, and up till now, it should be enough for you to understand the soul of the paper. But if you're looking to dig in deeper into the technical details of the project, that brings us to the next step. Step 5. Methodology. Until now, I have briefly reviewed the paper and I understand the essence of it. But if I am interested in investigating their process further, I dive into the technical details of the paper by reading the methodology. Now, this is a more involved step and takes me some time. This brings us to our last step. Step 6. Future scope. Any paper has 3 components: the problem statement, the methods used, and the data or resources experimented on. Now that I have read the paper in entirety, I would like to make a note of the following things. If I could use a different method to solve the same problem statement, or if I could use different resources to solve the same problem statement, or if I could use the same method to solve a different problem statement altogether. And after I come up with these answers, I compare them with the future scope of the paper. This always helps me give new ideas about what I can do in the future, based on the idea proposed in the paper. Congratulations, we have successfully finished reading a scientific paper. Follow through for some tips. I like to make my paper look more visual and easy to read, hence I use a color scheme with my markers. And I use this rubric with almost every paper I read. I usually use green for constants and assumptions made in the paper, yellow for important points that I would like to come back to after some time, pink for something I didn't understand, blue for results obtained, and orange for important references. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if this video was helpful for you and what your color scheme is. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.